Do you want the other view? That's doing the prisoner view.
Yes, I do. Hi, welcome everybody today. I'm gonna stop my share here. Thanks for joining for the grand opening of the Equipment Depot. We are so excited for this today and ready to kick off. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we go fully into this. I'm just gonna share my screen. Maybe. And we'll quickly go through the agenda tonight. So we'll be launching with the President and CEO of Georgia Bio and the Center for Global Health Innovation, Maria Thacker-Gothy. Then we will move into a keynote with Dr. Philip Gibson, who is the Executive Director of Georgia Quick Start, and he is also the chair of the BioEd Institute. We are going to have 3 fun giveaways for all of our teachers who are on with us tonight and celebrating. And then we'll take a nice little video tour. This is the best we could do in this virtual world that we're in. So we'll tour through there and give you guys a little sneak peek of what the physical space looks like. Give an explanation of how it works to donate or to pick up equipment. And then we get to hear from some of the teachers who have experienced both the BioEd Institute in a few different capacities as well as the Equipment Depot. And then we'll just like to recognize our donors and our volunteers, and we will close out with one final giveaway. So I feel like at this point in everybody's new COVID life, we've all experienced some Zoom or too much Zoom, but just in case, we'll just review a couple of housekeeping items. So this is a webinar format as opposed to a meeting format. So if you are an attendee and you registered to attend this today, you are automatically muted and your video's automatically off. So you can enjoy a snack and not worry about anybody watching the crumbs fall or whatever that is. But if you do have a question, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little Q&A icon and you can submit your questions there. And if you need to chat, you can use the chat button. It's that little speech bubble. And if you would like to express your emotions in some sort of way, you can look down for the reactions button and choose what fits you best. And with that, I will hand it off to our President and CEO, Maria Thacker-Gothy.
Thank you, Kristen. It's wonderful to be here. And I must say, this is a day that I have been dreaming of coming for quite some time. We're very excited about our new Equipment Depot space. I've been with the organization for over 14 years now and remember helping to work to start our education and workforce development efforts with the Department of Education and partners across the state as well as the country to see where it's come, especially in the last year with the support of the DOE, GYSTC, and my wonderful team with Kristen and Megan. It's just really, honestly, a dream come true. So this is a long time coming, like I said, and I'm very grateful to all of our partners and all of our teachers. I'm just going to take a few minutes to really talk about the organization and the industry and why it is so important that we continue to focus on building a pipeline for this workforce that we continue to see growing needs for. Our industry has consistently grown for the last decade, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, as even with COVID, we're still pretty resilient as an industry, considering we're one of the top industries responding to this devastating pandemic. So thank you to my team. So I'm just going to start by telling you about our new framework. The STEM Institute is gone through, along with Georgia Bio, the original parent, and a few of our other partners, an evolution. In February, we launched the restructuring of our organization to better empower and allow for more streamlined back office operations. And we are now a division of the Center for Global Health Innovation, and the STEM Institute is a standalone division that is connected by a dotted line to Georgia Bio, but has much more independence, and it really allows it to be more empowered. And we're excited that the board is moving forward with new strategy to grow the Institute so we can have even greater impact. Georgia Bio is, of course, a division. We work to promote the interest and growth of the life sciences here in Georgia, and we do that by improving access to innovative technologies and enhancing the quality of life by fostering strategic partnerships and advocating on behalf of the industry. We do a lot of public policy. Another division is the Georgia Global Health Alliance. That Global Health Alliance really works to advance health equity by promoting and facilitating collaboration amongst business, academia, NGOs, and government organizations. The Global Health Alliance is 4 years old, but it really started to coordinate the public health and global health community we have here in Georgia, which quite frankly, we hope that a study will roll out in about a month and a half will show we have the largest workforce in public health and global health based here in Georgia. Additionally, of course, our STEM Institute, which we're all familiar with, which really works to support education in the physical sciences, technology, engineering, computer, and math field. And we're working to embrace public health needs as part of our new structure, as hiring in public health is quite similar to that in the life sciences. And then there's one of our newest divisions, the Global Health Crisis Coordination Center, which was stood up in response to COVID. It had been under Blueprint for over a year. And in partnership with CDC Foundation, one of our depot partners, MedShare, and many other NGOs and government institutions and private sector partners, we've been working to blueprint developing a coordination center that can mobilize and coordinate the private sector resources to augment public health responses to national and global disasters and other crises. We did not know a pandemic would be hitting, but we're grateful to have had this blueprint and for seed money from Microsoft and the CDC Foundation to get this going. Since then, we've grown and we have partners across the planet, and we're very excited because we are seeing a lot of work in education already. And I'm proud to say that Kristen and Megan are plugged into our back to school program there. So we're already seeing the connectivity across this new structure. The last thing I would say the center is going to be doing is working towards rolling out a physical space that would allow for connectivity across health technology, life sciences, and global health here in Atlanta, but really be a main node that can help connect nodes not only across the state of Georgia, but across the planet. So please stay tuned for more information. Next slide, Kristen. Thank you. So I want to talk just a minute about the industry here in Georgia. In 2019, we rolled out our latest economic industry report. We as an association at Georgia Bio worked to understand and analyze the industry. And it had been about 9 years since our last study, so we had quite a bit of data to assess. And we're very proud to say that the industry withstood the recession in 2008 better than I think every other state in the nation. And we really have just grown more than tenfold. We measured the bioscience, medtech, and digital health industries. We identified our core strengths and assets, and this work was all done in partnership with RTI International. The life sciences and public health industry, as you can see here, supports approximately 3.7% of total employment and GDP here in Georgia. It just happened by chance that those numbers turned out to be the same. We did double check. And you can see the variety of industries that this feeds into. I'm proud to say that the RTTI program the states help support really is helping us to plug in even better to our food and ag and industrial environmental subsector here in Georgia. Agriculture is a huge piece of one of the largest, if not the largest piece of our economy in Georgia. So we're proud to say this is part of life sciences, and we're here to support that industry as well. And moving on to the next slide. So the states, the industry here in Georgia has a total economic impact of about $2.1 billion. And that's $12.8 billion in labor income and over 194,000 jobs. That is being done by a little over 3,000 establishments here in the state. Now, I will say this industry is a little can change daily, so I'm sure that number wiggled a little bit, but we have consistently grown. In the last, I think it was our last report in 2009 was had us under 1,000. So seeing that growth over the last decade is really just simply brilliant. I would just add that the research, testing, and medical laboratory space subsector in particular is quite large, quickly followed by bioscience-related distribution. So the state of Georgia has a lot of opportunity in that distribution and manufacturing space in particular, and of course diagnostics. Next slide. So why do you want to work in this sector? Why are we training this sector? Well, It's one of the highest paying sectors here in the state and across the planet. So why shouldn't we? We have opportunities, we have consistent industry growth, and we need to build that pipeline for young people. The average pay, as you see here, is over $74,000 in here, and it averages up and it continues to go up depending on that specialty area. But there are plenty of jobs that if just with a technical degree and even straight out of high school, you can be trained up by our industry to work in the field of life sciences. Next slide. I think that might be, I got one more, right? Yeah. So I'm about to turn it over to Phil. I just want to quickly close by again saying that our highest annual pay area is in the manufacturing space. We have a lot of great data on our website at gabio.org, GA for Georgia, of course, bio.org. And under the resources tab, you can see not only our industry report from 2019, but the Techonomy report that BioNational put out this past June. Our supply chain logistics opportunities for life sciences are also something that we're being recognized for nationally. So I think that's an area that we as an organization will continue to lean on and continue to work with our economic developers to support their work as they work to recruit companies. So we're excited to be a partner with all of you on this call. Thank you again to my team. And I look forward to introducing the new Equipment Depot space to our community. And to any of our company members on there, don't forget to donate equipment. With that, I'd like to introduce our wonderful chairman, Dr. Phil Gibson. Phil?
Thank you. Thank you. My dog just wakes up, of course, as soon as I begin to make a presentation. So it's a tremendous honor. Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Kristen? Give me a thumbs up. Great, great. Tremendous honor to have this opportunity to represent and give a little bit of the background of the Equipment Depot. And I'm really glad everyone came. I hope all of y'all have had a chance to enjoy some of the refreshments and go around and meet people. I'm going to try to share my screen. You cannot share your screen while other participant is sharing. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. So I'm hoping some of you all will have a little trip down memory lane with me as we look at how we got to where we are. Back in 2007, there was an awful lot of noise around the life science industry, and Georgia Bio was very much at the forefront of that noise. And our leader, Maria, you were leading the charge back then as you are today. Is that right?
Sorry, had to unmute. Yes, that is correct, Phil. I remember sitting at the Fernbank School and sitting in little tiny chairs with some leaders like yourself.
That is great. So we have had the luxury of having Maria with us all this time, and a couple of you all that are board members were there as well. So one of the things that took place, a lot of things came together right back then in 2007. And one of the things that happened was we received a grant from the Department of Labor for $1.9 million. And that grant was shared between Athens Tech and Gwinnett Tech. And it created this thing known as the Georgia Bioscience Technology Institute. And that was the logo there that you can see on the screen. I'm hoping everyone can see that. And through that funding, we were able to create programs at those two schools, two bioscience programs with the idea of training people to work in the industry. And back then, the industry was divided into these areas, and you can see some of the old companies that we were working with at that time. Some of those are still around, and some of them have changed names. But that is what we were doing. Now, the bio organization divided the bioscience industry into these four main categories: agriculture, drugs and pharmaceuticals, medical devices, research and testing. So that is not really completely changed, but it's changed a little bit. One of the things that I found interesting looking back through this old material is that the bioscience industry outpaced other industries in employment growth. pretty significantly, as a matter of fact. And I think that too is still the case today. So it's great to see that that's happening. This old slide was a Georgia Work Ready slide, and it gives an idea of some of the companies we were working with directly and some dramatic changes just to see how much it's grown. We had more than 330 companies, and if you compare that to Maria's slide earlier, that's pretty amazing. It was the fastest growing industry sector in Georgia from 2001 to 2007. Well, another thing that happened during that time is a collaboration between DeKalb County Schools and the Georgia Bioscience Training Institute. The Georgia Bioscience Technology Institute. We got another grant from what was called Work Ready at that time, and it was $1.3 million. That grant came through the Georgia Workforce Board and then to the Atlanta Regional Commission. And through that funding, we created the Innovation Crescent, or the Innovation Crescent was created. And it was sometimes referred to as the Innovation Banana, which you can see there illustrated on the Georgia map. It stretched from Atlanta to Athens. And surprisingly, that at that time, it contained 85% of the life science industry, and almost half of the state's population was in that area. Not sure where we are with those statistics today. One of the things we began doing is connecting nationally with other organizations. We connected with BioLink, which was the National ATE Center based in San Francisco, and Elaine Johnson was running that. So Athens Tech, Jeff Rapp, and I at Gwinnett Tech connected with BioLink. We did quite a bit with BioLink, and today we're still trying to do some things along with BioLink. Another place we connected, and I don't know if any of the teachers on the session this evening have used the DNA Learning Center, but boy, it's a really great resource and a place that has an awful lot of labs that you can do, hands-on labs, and they're really helpful. So the DNA Learning Center was another connection that we had. We had our own website, of course, and that website highlighted several careers that you could enter into. And this image of a student, I think that was one of Athens Tech students working with a bioreactor there, really was a popular initiative. And this slide presentation and its format came from that particular initiative. That started in 2007. Of course, much like today, we were focused on skill standards that we needed to deliver to middle school, high school, and two-year students. When they graduated, they had these skills that they were supposed to have in order to enter the industry. This is from Shoreline Community College, that picture on the left. Then on the right was a Georgia Teachers Resource Manual that was produced by, I guess, the Innovation Crescent funding and that Work Ready funding. Jonathan Wetherington did a fantastic job on this manual, and I still have it. I don't know if we still distribute it or not. It's a great manual and one that can help teachers a lot. One of the things that we did was we developed 2 pathways in the state of Georgia for you to graduate from high school with a biotechnology credential. And those 2 pathways were in the health science area of CTAE and in the agricultural area of CTAE. Those are still there, and you can still use those pathways. There are a number of classes that were created, and a lot of you all probably on this call helped create those classes. It was a lot of work and it was a lot of fun. Those classes also became accepted as a science class for the college track students. So we didn't want to leave anyone out. So one of the things we did was we got that approved to serve as a science elective or to meet one of the science requirements for graduation. We also created quite a few experiences for 7th and 8th graders that were available from the Georgia Department of Education. And in 2009, Bio International came to Atlanta. And this, I guess it's still their logo. It might not be their logo anymore, but that was their logo. And we were lucky enough to get a panel where we gave this presentation about building a workforce pipeline. Part of that panel discussion was this slide, which was Jeff Rapp's, one of Jeff Rapp's teacher training institutes. In the summer. They did what was called a whistle stop tour, and they rode around in this limousine and went to a bunch of different companies. It was a great experience, really well done. Mandy Latimer was very much involved in that. And I'm sure that I'm going to leave people out that I probably shouldn't, but Jeff and Mandy did such a great job. And there's a picture on the left side of the screen of some of that equipment and some Biorad kits that we were loaning out at that time. I believe some of that equipment might still be in the equipment depot today and still being loaned out to high school students. And that's a real great thing that got started way back in 2009, 2008, and it's still going today. One of the things we focused on was the transitions, and I believe that might be something we need to continue to focus on. And this idea that you develop interest in the middle schools and establish a core set of skills in high schools, and those high school curriculum needed to articulate to the technical colleges, which they do, they still do today. And then the technical college would develop practical skills for graduates, which could either articulate to a four-year college or they could go directly into the industry. We also had internships that were a real critical part of the program, and I know that we're trying to develop that as well today. Back then, we had someone involved with Georgia Bioed, whose name is Cinda Herndon King. Cinda started this thing and just was really so instrumental in getting it going. And Cinda's still around, and she was just a fantastic, energetic and wonderful leader that brought us all together and kept us going. She was tireless, drove all over the place, did all kinds of things. This was Cinda's slide in that Bio 2009 deal, the Push Me Pull You. The idea was bringing industry and education together does create a push me pull you problem, because often these two organizations or two aspects of the life science industry are at odds. And that is something we were always trying to mitigate. And the Innovation Crescent back then boasted these assets, which are shown on that slide. And we would tell people that we had more assets than the North Carolina Research Triangle, which I believe was true at that time. And I think the Innovation Crescent today has added some more counties, maybe. But the Innovation Crescent was led by a guy named Ed Graham. Ed Graham was the manufacturing lead, or he ran Aramco there in Athens, and he was retired at that time. And Ed did a fantastic job. We also had Mary Margaret Garrett, who was with the Atlanta Regional Commission. She too was a fearless and tireless leader for this initiative, and I really would want to recognize her. Jamie Graham was around as well. Stuart Zola, I think, has retired. He was the ran Yerkes National Primate Research Center, did a fantastic job, and those people really helped us move Georgia Bioed kind of into mainstream. I would say one of the things we began to do was to place people in the industry, and those people began to develop a reputation for people who had encountered and had anything to do with Georgia Bioed. This is Jenny Hedges, and she's in Florida now, but she developed a vaccine for fish. In fact, she vaccinated all of the fish that were hatched in the state of Georgia for a couple of years. She manufactured the vaccine there in the lab at Gwinnett Tech and took it up there to the fish hatchery just below Lake Lanier. She did that whole project. It was really exciting, and something that we did that I thought began to get a little bit of name recognition. And this was in 2012. So 2012, 2013, we were still going strong. We had Cinda move on to some other things, and Melissa Nikolic came along, and she was doing things at Georgia Bioed. She worked with Jeff Rapp. They took some teachers out to San Francisco to summer fellows really great experience for those folks. We were doing teacher training every summer, and I've put on the right side of your screen the cover of one of those week-long training events. We had a booth, and we went to conferences and meetings all over the place. We went there to the Georgia Science Teachers Association and had our booth and tried to make a biggest splash as we could. 2012, 2013. And then Jordan Rose came along and took the helm there at Georgia Bioed, and he began doing teacher trainings in the summer. Those were very, very successful and went quite well. And one of the things that we established during that time was this, we knew that teachers lacked resources. We always heard that, but we finally had some documentation of that. The teachers, and this next slide is 91% of teachers said lack of supplies was their main challenge in teaching hands-on laboratories. So it again emphasized the fact that we needed to have an equipment depot, and we needed to continue to provide these people with the resources that we needed. So here's a funny slide from back then, I thought, that shows that we deliver professional development and the equipment depot, and there in the center is an image of the equipment depot, which I guess was a rented place or something. And these were images of the professional training that we did way back then. So that brings us to today, 2020. We have a whole new lease on life. We have new leadership. Of course, we still have Maria guiding us, but we have Kristen and Megan, who have now begun to run the show and have really stepped in and grown this organization to a tremendous organization. And this is an old slide that Kristen gave me of what we're trying to do: inspire, support, advocate, and connect. And then, you know, we had planned this Equipment Depot grand opening for August 27th, and there were some images and some dollar amounts that we had collected at that time. But here we are finally at the Equipment Depot grand opening, which we all have so much looked forward to, and it is exciting. Maria made mention of this, the first permanent space or space for Georgia Bioed, a real place to be a real organization. It's not as though we weren't an organization before, but now we have a home and we have a place where we can base things out of and maybe be a whole lot more effective would be, I think, where we're headed with this thing. And I think there was one more slide for me in your slide deck, Kristen. And I see some comments in the chats. Oh, look, I remember. That's great. I hope everyone's following the chat. That's great. So yes, we indeed serve as a bridge between STEM industries and the education system in Georgia, bringing together that push me, pull you organism that is bringing together the industry with education. It's not an easy task. Everyone across the country is struggling with the exact same thing. And we would like, of course, our goal is to become the leader of that here in Georgia. And what we've now done is we've taken this idea, we have broadened our industries of focus into these categories that are on the slide on your screen. We, of course, are still working with K through 12 students and post-secondary teachers. We also still have this Emerging Leaders Network, very much a part of what we're doing, and this is a way to bring young professionals into all of the opportunities that are available to them. We connect them by having dinners and tours of industry, and those young professionals are really the future. So we're trying to build this pathway, and I believe indeed we are building this pathway. We're getting more and more support from industry, as is being recognized tonight with the Equipment Depot and how successful it has been. And we've built this organization into having a couple of full-time staff people, along with the support of Maria and Christina, there at the main office. And all the great board members, the board members that are on the call tonight, I want to thank you all for your tremendous work. And thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. Now I'll turn it over to Kristen.
Bill, thank you so much. Jamie said it perfectly. You need to put all this history into a book. So can that be your next project?
Yeah, you know, it's just been so fun. All of these things we did. And when I went back through all those materials, I thought, oh boy, you know, one story I forgot to share is that Jeff Rapp and I lived next door to each other. And so what we would do when the equipment and the materials arrived, we would meet in between our backyards. And he would transfer all the stuff into my car that went to Gwinnett Tech, and off we would go. It was really fun. It was just a great experience, and I'm so glad to see that it's continuing.
Thank you. And I love the picture that you painted for all of us, that the Georgia Bio and the Bioed Institute has really deep roots in the biotech workforce preparation for the state. And it's a tribute really to the leadership that we have. We've got the constant with Maria, and we've got the constant with you, Phil, as a chair, and several of our other board members who just really are aware and passionate about this industry and making it great in Georgia for our community. So from here, we will move on to give you guys a little tour of the
So
scene.
first, we're going to do our first giveaway for teachers. So I am Megan Heafy. I am the Equipment Depot Manager. My background behind me is a photo of our greeting area, so a sneak peek of the depot space. So we will do our first drawing for our teachers. So you guys can choose from either a micro pipette with tips, a micro centrifuge, or a set of Erlenmeyer flasks. Must be present to win. So is Danielle Ward here? If you are here, please say hi in the chat.
I feel like we need a drum roll or something.
Is that good enough?
Thank you. All right, let's do one backup.
One backup.
If you're here and you're just slowly working over toward the chat, that's okay. We'll honor this.
There's the sound. Cynthia. Oh, and Cynthia is switching from phone. Oh, there she is. She's still here. Yay. Cool. So I will get in touch with Cynthia about getting her one of those items.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. And so now we have the long-awaited tour of our space. So we will watch a quick video of the space. Awesome. And thank you to Quentin Thomas for creating that amazing video. We'll make sure that it gets posted on the website as well, so you guys can find that later.
Oh.
Awesome. So as you guys can see in the video, we now have a much larger space. We went from that 200 square foot warehouse to a 2,400 plus square foot warehouse. So we can take in donations from industry, academia, and partner nonprofits. We can now organize our donations much more efficiently. We can train small groups on how to use that donated equipment, and we can distribute those donations to classrooms so that we can inspire and prepare the future STEM workforce. So, as you can see in our graphic. So like we said, the #1 barrier to hands-on labs is the equipment. So a lot of that equipment is expensive and the schools only use it for a small fraction of the year. So we can remove that barrier by loaning the equipment to schools. So we have items such as micropipettes, incubators, water baths, gel electrophoresis chambers, power supplies, and thermal cyclers, and many more items that we're able to send to schools either with a return shipping label, or we can schedule a pickup for our Metro Atlanta teachers. We also have consumables and frequently used items that teachers can keep for their classroom. For example, we get a lot of pipette tip boxes from academia, and then we're able to refill those with tips and get them to classrooms. We also have gloves, goggles, glassware, etc., that is ready to give away. So to receive equipment, teachers can request online. The easiest way is to email me. If we don't have what you're looking for, I'll put you on a request list, and then the second it's available, I'll let you know. So for example, we've had an ongoing list of teachers looking for incubators, and they pop up occasionally. So one incubator could take up a teacher's budget for the entire year's supplies. So we're able to get those incubators into the hands of teachers. I contact them as soon as they're available. So you can schedule a time to come in and pick them up, as you can see here from our shopping options. If you don't, so we can deliver in some situations, it just depends. But you can request an appointment to come in and shop. You can request items for pickup. We're not going to do open houses at the moment because of COVID. So individual shopping is your best option. But also we have our option for open houses at industry. So for our industry members, if you have a lot of surplus that you're ready to cycle out, we can schedule a block of time where teachers come in and they shop at your space. So we'll help you to record those donations, and then we generate a charitable receipt. So last November, we held an industry open house at Laboratory Design and Supply in Beaufort. Teachers were able to come and pick up 1,600 pounds of supplies, and the supplies valued about $20,000. So those items were moved directly into classrooms for teaching. So we are flexible, we're open to creative ideas, so let us know if you're interested in doing something like that. So in addition to the open houses for industry, we have other ways to get involved. So we take any of those supplies that were listed in the video. The list is also on the Depot website. We take pretty much anything. If you have something and you're not sure, just ask. Let's see, so you can also make an online donation. The link for that is also available on our website. We are seeking sponsorship. So right now we're looking for a shipping partner. We're looking for sponsors for lab kits and trainings. If there's a topic that you would like us to address in a teacher training, please let us know. We're happy to address those. We also have volunteer opportunities that are organized every other month. We'll do a work day. We're also happy to schedule separate days if you have a small group that wants to come in and work together. So our new location is in Tucker, which by the way was just voted the best city in Metro Atlanta in an AJC poll. So, and we are at 5002 North Royal Atlanta Drive in Suite H. It's easily accessible, as you can see, from 285, 85, and 78. Yes, Stan, I'll take your stuff. Thank you. And then let's see, so now we're gonna hear from a couple of our teachers about how the Depot and the Bioed Institute have impacted their teaching. So first up is Miss Felicia Forbes. from Metter High School.
Okay. You ready for me? Hi.
Yeah, hey Felicia.
Okay, hey. Okay, I'd just like to say I'm so grateful for the program. I'm in Metter, Georgia, which is a rural town, really, in Southeast Georgia. And at the moment, I'm only the only chemistry and biotech teacher here. And we don't have many people I can actually partner with for biotech. So I'm very glad to have had the chance to join the RTTI training in January. So I have some other teachers around Georgia that I can actually speak to and actually use as a resource to help me. And after the RTTI training, I brought home some equipment after that was over. I was so glad to get some lab equipment, especially the 2,000 milliliter graduated cylinder. I think that's going to actually help my demo for elephant toothpaste when I teach chemistry. And so now we really can make a good mess in the lab when we do that. And so I was excited about that, getting one of those. Okay. And then I had brought back gloves and other, a set of safety goggles or glasses for my chemistry class, because the ones that we had were so old, you can't hardly see out of some of them. So I was very thankful for that. Then I actually was speaking to the ladies, and I actually was able to put in a recent request for some more supplies to come in. So after the RTTI, I had to do I just wanted to say, I'm gonna go back to that. I had to do a lab as one of the requirements. So the supplies were sent to me for doing the Kool-Aid chromatography, and I really enjoyed doing that, and my students did too. They sent me the C18 columns, the 24 well plates, and even sent me some different types of Kool-Aid. So my class actually enjoyed that. And what I really liked about that, doing that with both levels of my chemistry class, was at the regular level of students really had a chance to actually critically think by using those columns and to see polarity and different subjects, different things they usually have a hard time with. Okay. And also recently I had a chance to request some materials, and they came in, and I'm very grateful. But with my biotech class, I was actually able to use the supplies that we received as a chance for them to learn how to do inventory.
Awesome.
So in my classroom, we did that. I made an inventory list for them. And so they got a really life skill they can use when they go out to work and taking inventory. So I'm really excited about the equipment we've received, especially because my budget for science is, we have to share a small amount of money at this school. So I'm not really able to order some of the things that I really would like. So this has afforded me the opportunity to offer my students some of the labs that we would have not been able to do because of money. So I say thank you so much to the Equipment Depot, and I'm so excited for it. And I'm sure I have not stopped asking for anything, and I'm looking for some more things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And next up, we have Stan Harrison from Morgan County High School College and Career Academy.
Can you see me?
Yeah, there you are.
I can't see you. Do I look beautiful? Hey, so I just want to briefly talk. I'll keep it brief. So it was funny going down the trip down memory lane with Phil. I started working on some of the workshops with Georgia Bioed back in 2013 with Melissa Nikolic and Jordan Rose. And so I was very green at that time, and I didn't even know what type of equipment I needed. until I saw it and got to play with it. And so that's one of the big values, I think, for a depot like this is to have the equipment to just try it out, try it before you buy, because all this equipment is expensive, even the, the perishable items. And you really need a chance to play with it, get experience with it before you invest a lot of money. I know I wasted a lot of my budget my first 3 or 4 years. And now I can go and actually borrow some things that I'll do every blue moon, because I don't have my biotech classes. They may skip a semester or two. And so now I don't even have to invest all that, where I know that I need my budget to come in every single year under a certain amount. Now that just opens up a lot of opportunities for me. So I'm really excited about this depot and playing with some new toys. So that's what I think is a big value with something like this. And of course, I also have to reiterate, the workshops are just huge. That's how I learned, just collaborating with other teachers and networking. And that's really where you make big leaps, I think, as a teacher, is being able to see what other teachers have done, maybe go see some of their labs, go to the depot there, and it'll start to spark ideas of things that you might be able to do more efficiently. And then you start, then it really takes a life of its own. Then you can start trading up. I've just traded something while we're talking here. I did a little private message. So I'm gonna donate some of my equipment I don't use very much, but it's still very good stuff. So so kudos, guys. Y'all have done a great job. You've taken it to a whole new level here. And I can't say enough about the program, the Institute here, and can't wait to see what the next couple of years hold.
Yeah, thank you, Stan. And we are a fan of yours as well. We've really appreciated working with you and just helping with the trainings and helping to network with other teachers. So it's been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
And next up is Anna White, who's at Cross Keys High School.
All right. So, hello, my name is Anna. As she said, I work at Cross Keys in Atlanta, and I've been going to the depot for a few years now. I try to get anything that I can. When I asked the school if they were interested in a biotech class, they said yes. Although I still need some more support from my school. I don't think people realize how expensive biotechnology is, and a lot of people don't understand what it is. They don't understand the importance of it. So it's a struggle for me at that end. But without the depot, and I go to Donors Choose, and I've written grants, I've been able to come up with a bit of equipment that I successfully had before COVID biotech class. And I recently got from Megan Minus 80 and incubator, which are awesome. I can't wait to use it. Because I really, not only do I want to develop a pathway, I really want to get into the research with the kids, because I think that would be awesome. I worked in a research lab for 5 years, and to me, it's very exciting. Another thing I've done through Georgia BioEd is I participated in summer workshops with Mark and Trish Peterson out in Baldwin County. First, they started out with Jordan, and then Megan took over it the last time. And I hadn't been in the lab for about 5 years, so just getting my feet wet again and getting into the experiments, it was really exciting because I like bench work. And you forget. After a few years, you just forget. If you don't do it on a regular basis, things that I used to do every day, and I'm thinking, what? I couldn't remember. So workshops are awesome. I'd like to attend any workshop, as many as I can. So I love Georgia BioEd. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Up next is Julie Throne, who's at Cedar Shoals High School in Athens.
Hello, I teach agri-science. I teach basic ag, horticulture, nursery landscape, animal science, and vet science. And I have been involved with Georgia Bio for several years. I think I've been to all the depots. I remember that I think that was the first one I went to, was in that rental unit. And I have received a ton of supplies and equipment from them. And I think it's great. I really, really appreciate all the effort and hard work you're doing into getting some much needed equipment and supplies to the teachers. I have attended the Peterson workshop as well, and it was fantastic. It was great working with all the teachers, and he had those students in there that knew what they were doing, and they were able to assist. There's great information that comes from Georgia Bioed. We are working on getting more agriculture teachers involved in Georgia Bioed. We have a workshop coming up, and I've reached out to my friends that I know that are interested in learning more bench skills and introducing them to their students. In agriculture, FFA has a competition called AgriScience Fair, and I've used a lot of the lab techniques with these students to develop competitive research projects, and we've had a lot of success at the state and national level with these projects. A couple years ago, I applied for and received a grant from the Society for Science and the People. They're in with the Intel Science and Engineering Fair. So I was able to buy a lot of equipment and supplies through there as well. So we were very fortunate to do that. But I do appreciate all that y'all have done and look forward to more good things from you in the future.
Thank you, Julie. And thank you to all you teachers for sharing. We're happy to support you guys, and especially during this semester. I know it's been challenging, so we're here for you. Thanks. And up next, we have Rebecca.
Hello, everyone. I am going to get here on my video here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Phil, I can see you, Phil. Okay, you can? Great. I was going to say I can see Phil and his beautiful backdrop of the barn. So I was, I don't have quite the beautiful backdrop, but I have a feeling that that's not real, but I won't ask. So it's great to be able to chat with you guys today. So I'm Rebecca Burns. I work very closely with Phil and Kristen and team as part of the Georgia Bioed board, and I'm really excited about today's opening. You know, a really essential component and a component of the Equipment Depot that makes it possible is the involvement of the STEM community. So specifically around the involvement of industry and academia to provide the donations that eventually end up going to support our education system. So I wanted to give a few examples of how that has happened and just some encouraging facts around that. So for example, Dendreon is replacing their microscopes and has promised that their last generation will then be used to supply the depot. So the Equipment Depot can then take these microscopes that are in great functioning order and then distribute them to classrooms across the state who need those resources. Next, Georgia State's labs actually replace their safety glasses after each semester. And so one of the ways that those can then be reused and recycled is by coming to the Equipment Depot to be sanitized and then be redistributed to schools so that they can be used by students there. Next, VWR and Avantor received an order of lab coats in error, and that essentially ended up taking up space in their distribution center and not being put to use. They were able to donate that to the Equipment Depot, and we were able to take that and then get it to teachers who needed those supplies. And finally, Medicapital Rent leases equipment to pharmaceutical companies to be used in clinical trials. So when those trials are finished, it tends to be about 2 years of use. This equipment is returned and Medicapital Rent is finished with it. So some of those pieces of equipment actually end up being unused equipment such as saline bags, and other equipment such as potentially refrigerators, freezers, and the like have only been used for those couple of years and are perfectly able to function for many more years to come. So they end up sanitizing the equipment and then donating it to the depot. And then we are able to distribute those resources out to the classroom to be able to be used in the community. So not only does this provide benefit to the industry to provide that support, because it does provide them the option to free up space in their warehouse and also avoid sending it to landfills. The big advantage to all of us is that it comes in terms of future human value, and that we do use it to educate and prepare a future workforce. So as the STEM Workforce Institute, we're grateful, extremely grateful and indebted to our donors, and really want to recognize all the contributors that have donated to us. So the following organizations have either donated equipment, supplies, or funding: Avantor VWR Wards, Bio-Rad, Boehner Ingelheim, Fisher Education, Georgia Power, Lab Design and Supply, Sorbtech, Takeda, The Pipette Solution, Waypoint Analytical, Emory University, the University of Georgia, Athens Technical College, Morehouse School of Medicine, and Georgia State University. So I just want to extend a very warm thank you to those that have provided donations, and encourage anyone who's here today at this opening to reach out to their connections that might have donations to offer, and connect them to Megan so that we can continue to supply equipment to the classrooms across the state that are in need. And with this, I'll turn it back over to the group.
Thank you, Rebecca. And now it's time for giveaway number 2. So thanks to all our teachers who have stayed on here. And again, it will be must be present to win.
Here we go.
It's Julie. Yay. Yay.
You could tell
Awesome.
this is not planned.
It is not.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
So Rebecca, thank you for sharing how to donate and for thanking our donors, and Rebecca for your time as well. Rebecca's our vice chair, also chair-elect. So as Phil is wrapping up his term as our chair, his 2-year term, Rebecca will be taking over, and we continue to be in great hands with such a powerful board. So you're noticing all the different links and all the different ingredients that are going into the secret sauce of the BioEd Institute, and every single one is important. And that includes our volunteers. So the Institute runs on and relies upon help and volunteers from our community. And the ways you can volunteer, Megan covered some of those. You can come into the depot and do sorting and helping out with packing and shipping on our open house days or our depot days, but also in other ways. So when we have teacher trainings, it's really important. I'm so glad, Phil, that you put the dissected llama shot, because it's just a great visual of kind of the push and pull that it takes. So in the importance of the connection of our future workforce to the professionals. And so getting to how you can volunteer, when we have our trainings, it's so important to have our industry professionals, and that includes our academic professionals, career professionals, to come to the trainings and meet the teachers and just explain all of the different opportunities that there are out there. So Maria covered it on a broader spectrum at the beginning of this event tonight, that it's 3.7 of the GDP, it's a $21 billion business. And then we can break it down to just what are those jobs, what skills do you need, and what level of education. I love that Felicia included an inventory, because that is on every single job description in an entry-level job. So that's perfect. I love that you're doing that. So volunteers, thank you. We've had fantastic participation from our academic institutions, and Georgia's just loaded, so we're super lucky with that. Athens Technical College, Atlanta Technical College, Georgia State University, Georgia Tech, Gwinnett Technical College, Morehouse School of Medicine, the University of Georgia, and the University of North Georgia. Thank you. We are so happy to have your participation and look forward to that continued relationship. And for our industry volunteers, Accenture, Cell Manufacturing Technologies, Dendrion, Food Science and Health Solutions, the Global Center for Medical Innovation, the Georgia Department of Agriculture, Georgia Power, Gerresheimer, Kilpatrick, Townsend, and Stockton, Lectens Bio, MedShare, Mini PCR Bio, Recro Pharma, Quest Diagnostics, and Takeda. Those last two of whom have been in the news greatly with COVID, with Takeda developing a therapeutic and Quest being one of the major testers. So thank you all so much for your commitment to us. And finally, this popped up earlier, so I apologize, but I just wanted to thank again our board members. This is has been a vision of the board long in coming, and Megan and I were fortunate enough to step in here and be able to help launch that vision, but it wouldn't have happened without our phenomenal board.
All right, and it's time for our last giveaway for our teachers. And while we're loading that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who attended today. Please follow us, check out our website, just search for Georgia BioEd. Follow us on social media. We're at Georgia BioEd on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right, so I'm gonna spin one last time for our teachers. Lynn Thomas, is Lynn here?
Let's see, do we?
There's Lynn.
Yay!
Yay, awesome. I'll be in touch. Thank you. So thanks again, everybody, for attending. We look forward to hearing from you guys with donations. Looking forward to working with our teachers and getting you guys some more supplies. So please reach out if you have any questions that weren't answered.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you all being here. Thanks to our teachers for sharing, Phil for the history, Maria for the overall state of our industry, and to all of our partners and teachers. Have an awesome evening, and we look forward to seeing you in the depot.